I know what you're thinking. What in the gosh darn is Bits and Bombs? Bits and Bombs is a podcast deep diving into what it takes to do stand-up from a different comedian every episode. Follow new open micer Peter Doms in his journey to be an okay comic.
You know when you walk into someone's conversation at the wrong time and it's weird?
Are you a comedian?
Yeah, I'm a comedian. Yeah. Yeah, like literally that just happened as I said that joke. I agree, man. Purple, yeah.
Oh, he's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
He took his hat off.
He took his hat off. Man, he's still going. He's running. What in the fuck is that? What kind of slapstick comedy show is this? So you know when someone walks into your conversation and it makes it weird? Anyway, that happened to me once.
Yeah. So, are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Sick.
Yeah, sick. So, Ash Chapman.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries. So when did you start comedy? When was your first gig?
That's a good question because the first gig I ever did was actually in my backyard when I was 19.
Oh, yeah?
So that was like, that's almost, I think it's 8 years ago or something. And then I just didn't do, like, that's not comedy. That's just me. Literally, I was holding a carrot as a mic.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to 10 of my friends in the backyard. And then I didn't do it for like maybe 4 years.
Yeah, so was that like just at like a party or something? Like, was that...
Yeah, it was just I just put on a party and I said, hey, come around. I'm going to try stand-up.
Oh, cool. So like the idea of the party was to try stand-up.
Yeah, kind of. Like, it was just like a drink and hanging around sort of thing. But I was like, I'm going to also do stand-up for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So it was just like a regular party, but then there was this awkward like, all right, guys, I'm going to turn off the music now and I'm going to tell jokes to you.
Yeah, okay. And how long was your set, do you reckon?
Well, probably 4 minutes.
4 minutes,
maybe.
yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking bad.
Yeah, I've done a similar... When I first started comedy, I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 gigs in. My friends had like a movie night in their backyard. And they're like, oh, come over and do comedy.
Yeah.
And like, that's the most nervous I think I've probably felt. Like, there's such a weird like element to just like, especially when it's like people you know and stuff in like the backyard. It's such like it adds to that level like awkwardness.
Yeah, man, it's nothing worse. The only thing worse than that is probably music open mics. Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
When I lived in Sunny Coast, there was like no comedy really, or barely. And there was this music open mic and I just asked them to get up, and then I think I did like maybe 2 minutes before people just started screaming at me.
Oh my God.
Like, they're just like, where's the fucking folk music? Where's the guitar? Where's the dreadlocks, you know?
Jesus. Yeah, rough. Yeah, because I had, like, Reed Willoughby, he started in Mackay too. And he started by doing, like, his first gigs were, like, the music open mics, like a really rough conservative pub kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's good, man. If you can get through that, you can get through any gig.
Yeah.
Like a proper one.
Because that's not how like I wanted to start out, but I think now that I've been doing it like for a little while, I think I might like go back to Mackay just to give it a go. Like when I'm back at Mackay, just give it a go, just to fuck around.
Yeah, do comedy everywhere. Do it anywhere. I think I'm a bit comfortable in Brisbane. I should probably go venture back to Melbourne and stuff. Like just go do something else, because I think I'm getting used to the crowds here a bit.
So are you from Melbourne?
Oh, I'm from Sunny Coast, but I moved to Melbourne for like 4 years. And then that's when I really started comedy again.
Yeah. So you started in Melbourne?
Yeah, properly started. Yeah.
How are the crowds there, like starting out and stuff?
Fucking horrible. Just like, I don't know. Like it was either all comics or people that were just like being interrupted at like open mics. Or like they'll have a gig in a smoker's deck of a pub out in Footscray, like some shit area. And then you'd have the ones like in Fitzroy where it was just like everyone's got pink hair and you're just like stepping on eggshells, trying not to say the wrong word or something. Yeah. And I was bad back then. Like I was really bad at comedy. And I thought being shocking was the funny thing to do. Yeah. And so I would really piss people off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what actually? So did you like? Is the open mics? How would you compare like the open mic scene in Melbourne to Brisbane? Did you say is there a lot more like?
Oh, I don't know what it's like now, but back 4 years ago, I would say the open mic scene in Brisbane is much better.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe there's less of an art scene, and more people are willing to pay money to see a show at an open mic. That's a lot of open mics in Melbourne. I mean, there are free ones here, but there's mostly ticketed ones. So people are more invested. And there's also less of it going on. So they have a higher expectation of jokes. And so I think people write jokes here better, if anything.
Yeah, I guess like I've heard that too, like especially like all the exports we have from Queensland, like Becky Lucas and people like that, and Kappa and stuff. Like we have so many great comics from Brisbane.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So yeah, I went to Sydney last week and there was like a lot of open mics there where like sign up on the night kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that shit.
I've never done that before. Oh, I think I did like there was like one very briefly in Brisbane last year.
Yeah, that shit's bad, man. That's I don't know. That was a common thing starting in Melbourne. Like you'd go there, you'd hope to get on, you'd put your name on a piece of paper, and it's just like so much more anxiety than doing it here, where you booked in for the next week or something. Yeah, but like that's just how it was. Yeah, I don't know what it's like now, but yeah, some of them you'd be waiting for hours to get on stage.
Yeah.
And you just see people bomb after bomb. Just like, this is going to be bad.
Yeah. I think like, cause yeah, some, especially like in Sydney, there was like some of the rooms are like, oh, cap is 30. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
There's so many, and that's so many comics in one night.
Yeah.
Like 30 people.
Yeah, like, man, that's not uncommon. Like there's this place, Voltaire, that's in Carlton, I think. And when I first started, I didn't know anyone, so they would just chuck me on last, which was like, it would start at 7. I would get on at like 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And half the crowd's gone. And when you get up there, people were just like, like falling asleep.
Yeah. That's like so exhausting.
Yeah.
Like to be there for that long of a show, especially like at a level where like, you know, a lot of people are like new and stuff too. Yeah. So it can get a little bit exhausting watching that much of it, I guess.
It's tough, man, but if you make friends and you're in the green room, it can be fun. And you can come up with jokes just like sitting there for 3 hours with people. Like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, there was one open mic I did where like there was like maybe like 10 people in the crowd and then like there was a good like decent like kind of green room kind of area. So like I got to know heaps of people through that. So that was like a really cool experience in itself. Yeah.
There's always positives from all these negative things, you know?
Yeah.
That's the way I like to look at life, I guess.
So you started out in Melbourne and then like what was your first few gigs like? So you did like, you said it like you did like a bit of like, a lot of the stuff in Melbourne you did was rough. Like what was the progression from there?
I think the first time I did it in Melbourne, I was like so delusional that just because I was doing it, I was happy. Yeah. I was like, this is going great. I didn't even notice that no one was laughing. And then I started to notice that they weren't laughing. And so I was like, I didn't know how to write a joke, so I would just do crowd work. And I would sometimes go up there with no plan. And I would just hopefully come out from talking to people. And that was working pretty well. And then I was going to do this like hour-long show for the Comedy Fest. And then COVID hit. And then it all shut down. And that's when I moved to Brisbane. Well, Sunny Coast first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long were you doing comedy by the time you decided to plan like an hour show for the festival?
6 months or something.
6 months.
Maybe less than that. I was definitely not ready. But I was just like, oh, I'll just do it,
Yeah.
just for the experience. It can't hurt. I mean, the show would have sucked, but it's good just to get on stage for like an hour and just work things out, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good way to get like there's what other chance are you going to get? Like that's like, especially like, I guess when you look at a hobby, especially your first like maybe few months of doing stand up, it's so crazy that like, if you do like some hobbies, you can do like 3 hours of painting or whatever, but you're doing like stand up in like 5-minute increments. So it's going to take quite a while to get to that amount of time doing the actual hobby.
Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? Yeah. It would be good to just do like an hour every night. Imagine how good you'd get.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do that, right? I'm sure. But it's just the then you have the excess pressure of like getting people into a room, and then you have to like think about that.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like 5-minute sets, you don't have to worry about that. Like the promoters doing that, they're getting the crowd in. But yeah, I would like to start doing more longer sets. I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Even 5 minutes now. Even back then, I fucking hated it. I was just like, this is way too short. I can't even think at this speed.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because I'm a slow talker. Like, I'm pretty slow, I guess. And, like, I just like to pace myself and shit. Otherwise, I just go overtime and piss people off.
Especially because you do, like, a lot of crowd work stuff, hey?
Yeah, and, man, you lose track of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking to people and then some fuckhead yells out. And then you don't expect that and you have to diffuse the situation and it's just a whole thing,
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get into I've never done crowd work.
Yeah, you should try.
Yeah, I guess it's that thing of like, I'm just like so nervous about it, but I just need to fucking do it. Like, I just need to push myself.
I feel more, I get what you mean. I feel more comfortable doing crowd work on people on stage than I do talking in a group of people at a party.
Yeah, okay.
I hate small talk with people at a party, but when you're on stage, you don't have to do small talk. You can just skip that, and you can just go, "Hey, what's with your watch?" You wouldn't say that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
To like a cash register chick or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a different thing. But I think once you start doing it, you get less nervous. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even like how you said how you'd go onto stage without anything like kind of planned. That makes me so fucking anxious. Like, I need to like, especially when I started, even now, like I need to have like a good idea of what jokes I'm gonna do. Like, at least an hour before I go on stage. Like, I get real like...
Yeah, that's ideal.
Yeah.
You should be doing that. I just couldn't write a joke for the life of me back then. So I just had to deal with what I had, and that was just talking to people in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the joke writing comes, though, to come out of the gate so, like, being comfortable on stage. Some people can, like, write really well and never get comfortable on stage, and that's what I'm kind of struggling with at the moment, is trying to get comfortable on stage.
Yeah, it can be hard for a lot of people. I would say for me, it was just the passion was enough to make me comfortable. But because I did like a few public speaking things here and there before I did stand up.
Yeah.
So I was like sort of already practicing.
What type of public speaking stuff were you doing?
Oh, there was this cringe fucking thing called Toastmasters.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's like,
yeah,
isn't it like like public speaking kind of course, or like a group that does it or something?
It's just like, like you go to multiple places that do it, and it's usually just like a lecture theatre with the lights on, and it's kind of like this awkward, it's like all the awkward corporate people in one place together. Basically, it's such a weird thing. And then it kind of has like this cult leader aspect to it, where it's like the guy's running it and he's like, all right guys, we're gonna get together, we're gonna become we're gonna like reach our enlightenment by talking to a group of people. We're gonna be good public speakers, and it's this weird thing. And then you have this awkward like networking thing like afterwards, and the whole thing is just fucking awkward, but it's good. It's good practice. I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. What is the end goal of people doing this like Toastmaster stuff? Is it just to build their confidence and things like that, or like do they have goals of public speaking?
Well, that's the thing, is like the selling point is you build your confidence. But then it's like, if you want to be a team leader or a manager or something, it helps. Talking in front of, the Woolies fucking group when you're trying to get them to make more sales. You want to be able to be that guy who's not cowering behind the fucking cereal boxes. You don't want to be doing that as a team leader. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it was just a confidence thing. I was always introverted. I still am. But I just wanted to see if I could talk to a group of people, and I did.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah. I think that I wasn't really stand up, but it was kind of like I was just telling a story about how I got fat on purpose.
yeah.
Which is a very weird thing, but it was just, I thought it was a unique story, and I told it, and then I got like the best speaker of the night award or whatever, talking about that. So that was cool. I don't know where that certificate is, but that was my first achievement close to comedy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you moved to Sunny Coast, back to Sunny Coast.
Yeah.
And was there much? There's a little bit of a scene now there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's Funny Coast Comedy. Been there a few times. That's good. There's Jack Barrett runs that. He's a real pro. He's all over the place. And it's interesting. Like, they host shows at the nightclubs that I used to get bashed at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that like a moment where you're like, I'm taking this moment back for me? Or you just like, or you probably, that's what you'd be making jokes about on stage too, is like, oh, I got bashed here.
I actually didn't think of it until right now. But yeah, I should. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like that. I did a show at this place called Taps in Mooloolaba. It was like just a bar that I went to that I would frequent. And the place was cool, man. It was like a self-serve beer station sort of thing. That was the whole thing. And then I was like, well, this is a popular bar. Why don't we put a show here? And then I ran a show, and it was really good. But I was hosting it. I was a horrible MC back then, but I was just like, I'll host it, And then I was like, I wanted to build the scene there, but I did that, and I was like, actually, I don't want to really build a scene. I just want to fucking tell jokes.
Yeah.
Because you can be a comedian, but you can also be a producer, and that's a whole fucking other thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was like, I don't really want to put too much energy into this, building a culture sort of vibe.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tour around and tell jokes.
Yeah, because I guess like starting to build a scene and stuff, it cuts into your own, it kind of limits you, in terms of like where you can be and your time as well.
There's so much fucking effort put into like making all these shows. So yeah, I just saw people doing that, and I was like, I'll just move to Brisbane because there's heaps of shows there I can do. Yeah. And I just felt like when I moved back to Sunny Coast, because I grew up there, it was just like I was going backwards.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was going back to who I was, which was just a party animal.
Yeah.
And then I would hang out with the same people that I was friends with in high school, and it would just turn into this, what am I doing? I'm just fucking around. It's not going to be that cool when I'm in the smoker's deck at 45. So I was like, let's just take control now and just fucking make a career,
That's cool. So you moved to Brizzy for comedy then?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah.
Whenabouts was that? Did you move here?
I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, sick. Yeah, so from there, did you find it quite easy to get into like the Brisbane scene? Were you kind of doing some of the drive stuff? Like, were you driving to gigs, Brizzy gigs when living in Sunny Coast?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, some of it was not worth it, but I did it.
Yep.
You know, go drive to an open mic for fucking 5 people and whatever. But it was, it was good. I was kind of making connections. I wasn't like doing many gigs, and I wasn't doing that well. Like I was just, because for me to do well, I have to do a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I get rusty real fast.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to do like 4 a week.
Yeah.
And then once I started doing that, that's when people were like, oh, he's actually okay. We can book him more, you know, but I needed that clarity before I moved to Brisbane because I was like, well, I don't want to move there and it's not going to work out, you know. So, yeah, and now there's not that many gigs in Brisbane still.
It kind of seems to be like new stuff pops up, and as new stuff pops up, other stuff leaves. Like almost like it gets swapped out for something else.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of venues here, they lose faith, don't they? They're just like, you know, that we're not getting enough money or something. I don't know what it is. Yeah. But they're just like, I don't know. If you don't have a pokies, it's hard for a lot of venues, I think. Because then they need to make more money. Yeah. But what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting that like a lot of the times rooms seem to end. It's because of the venues. Like it's not really like the room runner giving up on it. It's like I've heard that some venues can be quite asking of stuff from the.
Yeah, they have these weird expectations. Like, oh, can you like have purple lights? And you're just like, well, isn't that the venue's job? Yeah. You're just like, oh, the customers complained because there weren't enough seats in the same area or some shit. Or they're just like, oh, you're not booking enough female acts. And just like, bro, we're trying. Yeah. You know, there's only a handful to go around. We're trying to get them, you know? Yeah. Just shit like that. Yeah. I think that's the issues.
Yeah, especially for seats and stuff. It's so quite obviously the venue's job to do that type of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So I just don't fuck around with that stuff. Yeah. I'm just like, whoever's passionate about making a room, you do that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Respect to the room runners.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like, there is like a little bit of an expectation, like I feel like some people are like, oh, the next step in your stand-up thing is to like run your own room. And I understand that, but like I just don't need like another thing to add because it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, man, just focus on whatever you want to do. You know, you don't have to be doing all that. Yeah. I mean, it's good if you want to help build a scene and help people. Like I work with Neil Kolhacker. He's basically building a whole culture now.
Yeah, I've seen the Comedy Untamed stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like even just through like all the online, like the Instagram stuff. Yeah. With that, like I already, before they even come to Brisbane, like last year, at Sit Down, like I already knew what they were because I'd built like a really good online following. So it was really cool. He built like a culture like was it Melbourne or Sydney that they started?
It would have been Sydney, I think. That's where he lives. And then I think he just branched out to like everywhere. Like I think he's doing a show in Wagga Wagga, just like random places like that. And yeah, he's a really professional and seems like a noble guy. Like he's like, oh, I want to, you know, build this thing where it's like you don't have to break into an industry to get on the gala. Like you can just come onto this show and then we'll build like a showcase of comedians later in the year or whatever. Yeah. And the videos go fucking nutso, like viral.
Yeah, they go crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So good on him, you know. I was watching this guy in high school.
Yeah, same. I've been watching him for quite a long time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's just done a whole nother thing, you know, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. So you say that you're involved with like doing the Brisbane leg of that then?
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm hosting it with Anissa
Mm-hmm.
quite regularly. We alternate like every week.
Yeah. Cool. How often is that room? Like how often is that
Well,
show?
it hasn't started yet, but after August 10th, that'll be every week.
Holy fuck. Okay.
Forever until we die.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Whereabouts is that one?
At Good Chat.
Yeah. Good chat. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that'd be good. It's just good to have like another thing in Brisbane too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, more regular shows are good, especially for Brisbane.
Yeah, and it's like giving us like we don't really get much of a chance to break out into these like those type of platforms and stuff too. Like that is
Yeah.
kind of built. So
Yeah, it's good, man. I respect it. I couldn't do it. I just want to focus on the jokes,
Yeah.
you know, and life, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you've also run other so tell us about a bit about like crowd control and how
So-
that started.
So Crowd Control is a show that I haven't run for a while, but I was running. It's Shane Hunter's idea. He's a really good comedian, prolific comedian, and he got me involved in his show where it's basically 8 comedians go on stage and they get 2 minutes
Yep.
to do the best crowd interaction they can, and whoever gets the most laughs gets to the next round, and then whoever gets to the end gets $100. So it's pretty good. It's a good deal, $100 if you can just talk to the crowd. And yeah, we used to do that like every 6 weeks at Good Chat, and then he's done that in I think Melbourne, Adelaide, maybe Sydney, and yeah, we're taking a break at the moment, but yeah, I think we'll get back into it soon.
Yeah, cool. It's funny because before I moved to Brisbane, the first time I knew about you was through the crowd control like clips and stuff on the Instagram.
Yeah, right. Yeah, some of them were good, I reckon. Some of them were bad. But we tried our best to get clips. Yeah, it's hard when you only have 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You gotta really bring it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I feel like it takes like maybe 30 seconds to even like ease into it. Like,
Yeah.
And that's like a quarter of your time gone.
Yeah, and sometimes I would start talking to the crowd, and then I would realize, okay, this is bad. I'm already bombing. I'm not making it through. But then other times, I'm just crushing it. I'm just like, all right, sweet. And then I get through
Yeah.
to the next round or whatever. And it's pretty good because like even though I'm running the competition, I enter it, and it's still not rigged in my favor. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
exactly.
still lose quite easily. I
Yeah.
can be beaten by someone that's way less experienced than me, depending on the situation. So that's quite cool. Not cool when it happens. I hate it, but it is quite cool that it's like it's it's not rigged as a competition or whatever. If I do it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, especially like crowd and like if it's like a crowd vote kind of thing. It's so obviously like
Yeah.
up to them. It's not like there's judges or anything. So
that's how it should be, man. If you make a competition like in comedy, it should be the audience's choice. I reckon.
yeah.
No offense to Raw or whatever, you're the industry, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I think I actually prefer judged competitions.
Oh yeah,
But because I feel like sometimes if you can get, not always, but some people can bring so many people that it can overthrow like the crowd kind of vote. But
yeah, true.
then sometimes I've seen people bring like 20 people and still
Yeah,
like, you know, still not win. So
it's really
yeah.
funny when people bring their whole family and then they bomb. I love it.
yeah.
That's why I never do that.
Yeah.
I'm never like, hey, whole family, come to this fucking show and put more pressure on me.
Yeah. Especially like a crowd work kind of competition too.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Like your family sits in the front, you're just like, oh, wait, I fucking can't talk to you.
Yeah, and my parents are really supportive, and sometimes mum will show up to a show.
Yep.
And I'm like, thanks, mum, but now I'm anxious.
Yeah, okay.
But good on you for coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for me, early on, like, starting in Mackay, the only way to get people at the show was to bring family and friends.
Wow.
So like early on, like I got used to that, I guess. So
Yeah, okay. Well, you must be comfortable in front of your family.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's cool. Were you ever like doing like comedy stuff, like being silly around your family and friends and stuff as a kid?
Yeah, I used to like film like little sketches and stuff and like be like, hey mum, look at this dumb thing I made and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I've always tried. I used to do like some of the, like I'd always be, when early on, like I'd do like, I'd go up in like classes set, like school assembly. And like, I remember like I did I guess technically this is my first gig. I only thought of it recently. I did like a fucking really dumb knock joke, and like the punchline was Scrappy Doo from Scooby Doo.
Really? What? Do you know how the joke went?
It was just like knock, who's there? Scrappy Doo or something.
Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, and that was it.
Is that like the first draft of Scooby Doo? Just a scraps.
Yeah, just the scraps. Isn't Scrappy Doo that little fucking annoying dog that he hates? Right?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought you made up Scrappy Doo.
No, it's a canon.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, I used to do like a lot of dumb shit like that, like, and then I think over time you just get the confidence beaten out of you, and
right, yeah,
like so, like I started to get really like introverted, like going into like end of primary school, high school, so I kind of stopped doing like a lot of that type of like out there, because I used to always like when like things would come to school and be like, oh, volunteer, like I'd always be the first one, but over time I was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was like that in school. I was like always sort of like people would talk in a group and I wouldn't say anything. You know, when like the teacher was like, oh, who wants to read this part of the book? And then it'd be like, oh, Ash, you do it. And then you'd get like nervous. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I've got to say 2 sentences in front of
I have to be on
30 people. Oh.
Yeah.
And then you'd like start stuttering or something. And it's like, yeah, I was never like, because I was a fucking artist. Like I was just drawing pictures all day. I was one of those kids. But then in high school, I sort of started to get a bit more out there, I think. Yeah. So that was, I don't know if you relate to that kind of thing where it's like the teacher wants you to speak and then you just like,
like especially like in senior where you're doing like full like 10-minute speeches and shit.
Yeah, the speeches, man, fuck that.
And all like
so scary.
And the presentations and stuff on like English, like, yeah, that all sucked.
Yeah, because you'd be trying to like get over the hurdle of like you're speaking in front of a group. This is scary. Yeah. But then you've also got like Josh in the corner who's like flicking rubber bands at Stacey or whatever. Yeah. And you're just like, fuck, they're not even paying attention. Yeah.
I guess that preps you for gigs though. I suppose in the future, yeah.
I suppose Josh with the rubber band is now Dave with the schooner glass. Yeah. Just like falling over. Not fucking. He's not funny.
Not funny.
Not funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do a lot of like online skits and stuff. Yeah. Like for Instagram and TikTok too. Where did that start?
So I did a film and TV course in Melbourne. It was kind of like you'd learn a bit of everything from acting to directing to editing. Yeah. And yeah, it was really like I really wanted to be like Quentin Tarantino. Yeah. That was
we all do. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my goal. Yeah. Like I wanted to have hot girls' feet on the camera. No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make like funny sort of movies and like TV shows. And so I did this like web series that I never released, but it was kind of like it was like about a band and it was like a 6-part episode series where it was like the band, they you know, they're not successful, but there's this other successful band who's stealing their music, and then there's this whole like clashing thing and there's jokes. And so I made that and then I never released it, but I was like, oh, it's fun, like making this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to make like skits, but I was like really scared of like being judged or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. Like I want to make stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm gonna like I'm scared of like coming off as cringe and shit. But I guess you just
Yeah.
have to push through that. And
Man,
just
if you scroll through my TikTok, there's some cringe shit in there. I post some cringe videos. I'm not afraid. Sometimes you just have an idea and you'll post it and you'll be like, that was kind of cringe, but you know, I believed in the idea, so I just put it out there. But when I was scared of being judged back then, it was because I didn't want to get cancelled. Because I wanted to like joke about whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I think one of the first videos I did was like, I don't know, I was playing this like Italian guy and he was teaching you how to make pasta. He was like teaching his son how to make pasta, and the son was like the camera guy. And he would just like every so often rage at his son and like with a knife or whatever. And that was kind of like my first skit. And that was just on YouTube. And then I was like, oh, I want to make some stuff because this TikTok thing's blowing up. Like everyone's on this TikTok thing. And then I started posting on there and one video hit and I just kept going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have like a schedule or anything or is it just as you have an idea, you're just like, I'll do that?
I try to sit down and come up with at least 10 ideas and then I'll pick the best one.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll have an idea either in the back of my mind or because I've got like a list of ideas that I go through every now and then. Some of them I've recorded now that were written down like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I'll make them now because my head is in a different place. I know how to execute this now. And so I'll do it. So I've just got this catalogue of ideas that I would put in my notes when I'm just like walking or whatever.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Would there be times where you think of a joke and then you're like, oh, this is a skit, then you're like, oh, actually this might suit stand-up better, or vice versa?
Usually if there's two characters talking in the joke, I make it a skit.
Yep.
Or if it's something like that, because if it's stand-up, it's kind of hard because I find it annoying standing up there and going, and then he said this and then she said this and then he's like this.
Yeah.
So I prefer to just play the character because I like to be myself on stage, and on my skits I like to be someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So, have you done any like split shows or anything?
No, I've never. I'm only doing a solo show this year. That's my first one.
Your first solo show,
Yeah. First one that's actually going to happen. The last one, COVID cancelled. But yeah, I've never done a split bill or like been on stage with someone. No.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's interesting because well, this is the way I'm doing it too. Like, I guess we all do different stuff, but it's pretty common for people to kind of ease into shows by being like, they'll do like the 15 each kind of split, like three-way splits, and then maybe ease up to like a half each kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm too selfish, I think. Maybe my ego's too big. I don't want anyone to take the spotlight. Nah, I probably would. Actually, I was going to do one with Michael Cho at the end of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that. So we might do something, I don't know what the theme would be. Probably something racial. He's Asian. But yeah, I'll probably do that. I mean, I also like to keep all the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that's, because you got to split it, don't you? If you're doing it 3 ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it kind of like, it like costs less, but you're also making less too. So
yeah. I mean, I'll get openers. I'll get openers to open the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that. But yeah, like you said, costs less. And then you have 3 people to promote it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you have so tell us about your show coming up.
So the show is called Homework Flavored Dog Food, which is a collection of some of my best material I have right now and a few new jokes
Yeah.
that I'll chuck in there. And I called it that because, well, I just kind of wanted like a joke in the title.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of funny if you're into that. And yeah, it's silliness, you know. I want to represent silliness, but it's like it's really dry comedy. It's like there's a lot of Australian references. There's a few things I talk about, like anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
I talk about that, but I also talk about like these real silly things, and I talk about a lot of shops.
A lot of shops.
A lot of Australian shops. Because, you know, I'm out there. I'm out in the street. I'm walking around. I'm going to shops.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it.
Are you talking about Sanity?
No, I should.
Yeah.
Because
RIP.
what happened to that?
I don't know. Liquidation. They're all online.
Spotify fucked it.
Yeah, true.
This is going on Spotify, right?
Yeah, it's gone on Spotify.
Well, you're part of the problem. Yeah, maybe I'll talk about Sanity. I think I'll talk about Sizzler
Yeah.
a little bit. Crazy Clarks.
Oh, that's a good one.
Don't know where that went.
Yeah.
Right? Where is it?
Spotify.
Spotify ruined Crazy Clarks. Imagine if Spotify ruined every business. That'd be funny. Everything's just audio.
Yeah.
No one's going to real shops anymore.
No one's going to Macca's anymore. You can just get lunch from audio.
No one should go to Macca's. It's really bad. And you know what else? These I noticed a lot of these fast food places are getting like crime activity happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there's Morningside KFC. There was gunshots there the other day because there was a meth deal, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was like a guy. I think the story is that there was a guy dealing meth in KFC car park, and I think the guy ran away with the stash.
Yeah.
And so he got shot at or something. And I went to KFC because I was intrigued. I went to that KFC to get chips.
Yeah.
And this was like a week after it happened or whatever, maybe a few days. And I went in the drive-thru, and the people on the speaker were just like, they were doing it so fast. They just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah.
You're just like, what do you want, chips? All right, yep, come through. Oh, yep. And then you go through the drive-thru, you'd see like 5 15-year-old kids just like huddled together.
Behind, like plexiglass.
Just like, here you go. There's your chips, bro. See ya.
They're all on edge. They're just like, fuck.
Yeah, because they don't want anyone to come in and shoot them, I guess. And then there was like, someone got shot in like a Gold Coast McDonald's the other day. Just crazy shit, man. You know?
Is this gear that's going into... Is this going to be...
No, I just thought of it now, but I just... Because we were talking about... shops and like... Because everything's kind of going digital now. I think that would be the good thing. The good part of everything going digital is no one gets shot.
Yeah, no one's talking about it.
Yeah, no one's talking about these big issues, man. I don't know what I'm talking about.
So yeah, how are you going? Like what's the longest amount of time you've been on stage? Like, so far?
Depends if I'm bombing. If I'm bombing, it feels like an eternity. But I would say an actual time period would be like 22 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How do you go about like planning out having like an hour's worth or 50 minutes worth of like material for a show?
I do. I walk around a lot. I walk around and I look at things and I think about things.
Yeah.
And then I write it down. And then I try to put everything into like a Google Doc thing.
Yep.
And then sort of organize it so it's like makes sense if you say it conversationally. And yeah, once I'm doing that, I start to come up with more jokes because I'm organizing it in a way, and I'm like, oh, that, you know, Bunnings, that could relate to a car park, and then you talk about a car park or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of how I do it.
So is that like the way you're organizing like already existing jokes too? You're like, oh, this will make sense if like I go to Bunnings first and I go to like Sanity or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically just my my show is just my day, I think.
Yeah,
It's just like, all right, the first joke is me opening my eyes. I get in the shower after that. That's the next joke. No, it's kind of, it's all a bit, mixed up. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. Because I kind of see it, when I'm writing the show, I kind of see it as a movie.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's how I'm picturing it all
Yeah.
happening. And when I'm telling jokes on stage, I'm picturing the joke I'm talking about as a movie,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I love movies and stuff. I feel like I'm in one right now.
Life's a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sick. So yeah, that I guess from there, like, what are the dates for you? Because you have like a few dates for the show.
Yeah. I've got
don't
a
you?
few dates coming up. They're secret. I'm only going to promote one because I want everyone to come to that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't want people to be like, oh, I'll just go to the next one. Well, you don't know where it's going to be. So come to August 4th. Come to that date at 9 p.m. It's at a place called Big Fork Theatre. You've been there.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I'm keen to check out this show as well. I'll be there.
Yeah, it's a massive theatre. There'll be 2,000 people there.
Yeah. And it's almost sold out, isn't it? So you
Yeah.
better buy your ticket now.
It's almost sold out. I like saying Big Fork Theatre because when people think of theatres, they think of a massive place.
Yeah.
But really, it's just a small room, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage of having that name in the title.
Man, he's already doing theatres.
Yeah. I'm doing theatres.
Doing
You know what I
theatres.
mean? It could be the movie theatre, but you don't know.
Life's a movie.
Yeah. Actually, I have done a gig in a movie theatre.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Actually, I don't know if it was a movie theatre, but it was that sort of seating arrangement where it was just like you're on the ground and you're looking upwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done that. That was like that Toastmasters gig as well. You'd be in like a lecture theatre
Yeah.
sort of setting.
How would that'd be? Is it weird? Like,
That is weird. There's
Yeah.
like, because people are watching you, but they're also taking notes as they're
yeah.
watching. So you don't get that dopamine hit of like people laughing when they're meant to. But it is cool to feel like a, philosopher, a psychologist, teacher, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to be.
I feel like it's funny how you said like when people not laughing, they're writing and stuff. I feel like any public speaking I do from now, like, and I don't get laughter, I'm fucking bombing. It could be like a eulogy, and I'm like, God damn it, why is no one laughing?
Yeah. Yeah, you want people laughing in the eulogy, hey?
Yeah,
You want that.
that's where you put your best type 5 in.
Yeah. I reckon there'd be people out. I mean, I've probably made people cry at open mics, let alone at a funeral.
Yeah,
So which one's worse?
bombing at Fitzy's or bombing at
Bombing at
Nan's?
Fitzy or bombing at Nan's? Death. Fuck. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Ash Chapman TV. That's where most of it, all the magic happens. You can find me at Cooperoo Coles, probably on like 4 p.m. on Mondays. I had to come here. I wasn't there that time, but yeah, you can find me on TikTok as well, Ash Chapman TV. It's all the same, all the same socials, but go to Instagram.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks, Peter.
Cheers.